Now then, I have been asked a number of questions, and they have to do with what you're doing when the Lord wakes you, or when you wake up and you feel you ought to spend time with the Lord, what you do. Well, I'm going to throw some light on that this morning. I felt this for several days. So I'm going to talk to you on the Lord's visits during the night season. Now, obviously, that is for people who know God. I'm not an evangelist. You know that by now. And yesterday, Mrs. Beuttler and I were sitting up here in your lovely park by the Intercontinental Hotel. We don't stay there nor eat there. Their prices are out of this world. But we go up to that park. And I was sitting there with the Bible and with the Lord, with Mrs. Beuttler. She enjoyed the flowers and the pigeons, while I cooked a little meal for you. Now, I do not believe I can finish that this morning, but there will be an evening. So when the time comes, I'll simply break it off, and we'll continue this evening and probably add some other things. Now, turning to the book of Psalms, chapter 17, and verse 3. Now, David says, "Thou hast proved mine heart, thou hast visited me in the night, thou hast tried me and shalt find nothing. I purpose that my mouth shall not transgress." Now notice again, "Thou hast visited me in the night." Now I could almost guarantee that you hear very, very little preaching, if any, in this particular area. There are all kinds of areas of truth that God assigns to different speakers, to different of His prophets. So the Lord has assigned to me this particular area of communion, of the things of the Spirit, things pertaining to the ministry, but we're dealing not with the ministry here. So here we have an established fact that there is such a thing as the Lord visiting His people by night. Those of you who heard me here in other years might recall that I have related over the years, this is my sixth visit, I think, I have related here different visits of the Lord. I am aware, of course, that most of you were not there. But there is here the fact of the Lord visiting His people during the night. Now, first of all, we need light on this subject. God's people, or those of God's people, who have moved on in God beyond the commonplace. See, many Christians are satisfied with the commonplace of their religion. But there are others who are moving on in God, or want to move on beyond the commonplace. And it is particularly to those that I'm speaking this morning. First of all, we are using now Psalm 8. You know, David was a great lover of God, and those of you that were in Tauranga in the Faith Bible College 2 years ago when I was there, I think there were a few. You might remember that I was speaking there on sitting before the Lord. Now that also takes place during the night when we sit before the Lord. But now Psalm 8, 3 and 4. "When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that thou visitest him? Now here I put on my brief little note the wonder of it. What a wonder that the Lord should deign to visit His people. Think of it. The Lord visits His people. I've spoken here already years back on the visits of the Lord. Now, David gives the reason. When I consider thy heavens, the stars, of course, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained. What a wonder it is that such a great and omnipotent God should deign to visit people on earth. When I was a young schoolboy, I believed neither in God nor in the devil. I just wouldn't believe. But I loved astronomy and had studied the stars, or did study the stars. And one night I went out on a hill in very cold weather during the winter, real cold. I went out there in the wee hours, say about 2, 3 o'clock. Went up on a hill outside the town and looked at the stars. It was a dry, cold night, and I don't think I had ever seen so many stars before then or now. My, there were stars. And I looked at those stars, and I remember saying out loud, I don't know if there is a God. And I don't know if there is a devil. But one thing I do know, some supernatural being must have made all these stars. And that was the beginning of the Lord's dealing with me. I recognized the existence of a supernatural being by the things that are made. And so when David considered the stars, he said in amazement, what is man, and what is the Son of Man, that thou visitest him? So the Lord does visit. Now notice Psalms 18:28. I'm talking here about the need for light on this subject when God gives us the experience of visiting us by night. Psalm 18:28. For thou wilt light my candle, the Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. Now by the grace of the Lord, this morning and apparently tonight because of time, I want to light your candle and give you a little candle light in the dark. When the Lord visits you during the night, awakens you from his sleep by a touch of his hand, which is possible, I've had it, by a presence that wakes you up, or by some other means, as some of the questions that I've had here, what am I to do? Well, we need a candle. And so we're going to go to the Word to light our candle so we can see and understand the Lord's visit in the night, and particularly what to do, how to respond. So we have this remarkable assurance, thou wilt light my candle. I like that. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. This now is a candle lighting service. I hope you brought your candle an open heart, an uncritical spirit, a desire that reaches out after God, a desire for life and the substance. The desire is your candle, the Word will be the light. May the Lord lighten our candle for His visits in the dark. Briefly to Psalm 119 and 105. This has to do with the source of that light. I've already mentioned it, but I like to give you Scripture. For we're basing these things on the Word, not on personal experience. Personal experience sees how it works, how it can be applied, that it is real, but the Word ever has to remain the basis and not the experience. So 119, 105, Thy Word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So we're going to light this candle from the light of the Word of God. This, shall we say, is God's candle, and we'll take our candle and touch His candle and take a little light from His Word so we can see and know what it is all about in the seasons of the night when the Lord visits His people. Now to the question, what am I supposed to do? Somebody said, Brother Beuttler, I know the Lord awakened me, but I didn't know what to do. Well, now, let's see. Psalm 63, 6 to 7. Here David said, when I remember Thee upon my bed, and meditate on Thee in the night watches, because Thou hast been my help, therefore in the shadow of Thy wings will I rejoice. Well, one activity here is meditation. You know as well as I do, we are living in a in the age of electronics. And people are losing the art of meditation. This is a universal thing, especially in the Western world. Somehow people don't seem to like to think anymore. That's true. People want to have their thoughts thought by others. People like others to do the thinking for them. You find that throughout the world, especially the Western. And people are losing the art of meditation, contemplation. We have our television. Now you are lucky in this respect. Unless I'm mistaken, you get television only from one channel, is that correct? Well, in the States, in our metropolitan centers, you have a dozen or more stations from which you can select anything, and you can get almost any time of program you like. If you don't like one, you turn to the other. If you don't like that, you turn to the other. Like New York City, there's a basketball of nations. Well, the result is people, instead of thinking and meditating and reading the Word and contemplating God, they'll turn to television. Our Sunday night services in many churches are all but abandoned. Why? People are at home watching television. You take a trans-Pacific flight. Well, I go on a 10, 11-hour non-stop flight. All right, you have your meal. After a while, now it's movie time. Put on the shades, Now come the movies, and people sit there by the hours watching a lot of junk. They want to be entertained. What a God-given opportunity to read and to think, to review your life, to contemplate things. That's where I use my time for meditation, for waiting on the Lord, for reading the Word, or even a magazine, for sitting there and doing some thinking. People don't want to think, they want to be entertained. So you are lucky, you have only one station. You can turn to a dozen stations if you don't like one program. You have to turn the thing off. And the best part of a television set is the switch to turn it off. With most of the junk that you get, at least we at home. Now then, in the night watches, when I remember thee upon my bed, contemplating the Lord, meditating on Him, look what He says, because thou hast been my help. Reviewing, for instance, what God has done for us. Reviewing His great works on our behalf, David meditated on the Lord in the night watches. He didn't get up at 1 o'clock and say, well, now I'm awake, what shall I do? I'll go to the television set and I'll watch the late show. I don't know what you have, but we have the evening show, we have the late show, we have the late show, we have the late show, and now you're in midnight, in halfway to the morning. Program's still going on. Well, David did some meditating. Now notice Psalm number 1, verses 1 to 3. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Do you notice in passing how people deteriorate in their relationship with God? First, you have walking, then you have standing, then you have sitting. First we walk with the sinners, then we stand with them, and finally we sit with them where we're one of them. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And what better thing to do at night than to contemplate the Lord and to meditate in His Word. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. David used the night season to meditate on the Lord and His Word. Psalm 119, verse 55, gives us another activity related to this now. I have remembered thy name, O Lord, in the night, and have kept thy law. David remembered his name during the night. Now, to think upon the name of the Lord is to think upon what God is. His name is what He is. His name is His character. In other words, if we could invent, which is impossible, one word, which in one word would embody the sum total of all that God is. If all that God is could be put into one word, that's His name. Now, the Lord in the Bible has many names. The reason the Lord has many names in the Bible is that the Lord is so much that there is not one name that could possibly be a descriptive name of what he is. He thought upon his name, he thought upon the characteristics, the attributes of God. And here I'd like to turn to chapter 50 of Isaiah and verse 10. Who among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light, let him trust in the name of the Lord and stay upon his God. Now look here. There is such a thing in our Christian experience as going through a period of darkness where misfortune has befallen us, sorrow has touched us, trouble has come our way, and we are unable to account for it or find our way through it. Now, I have heard it preached, folks, if you are obeying the Lord and walk with God, you'll never be in the dark. Folks, that's a Beutlerism. That just is not so. Job was a choice saint of God, and God said so. A man that feared God, stayed away from evil, was an outstandingly righteous man, and he walked through pitch darkness for over a year with the things that had befallen him. But look here. Look to whom the scripture is addressed. Who is among you that feareth the Lord, and obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light? Here you have a situation where a believer in God fears God, obeys God, and yet has trouble. In fact, it is true, folks, as though I cannot develop this, that there are people who are going through severe trouble, not because they fear God, but because they have walked with God. Job is an example. The devil gets their eyes on them. Now, what is such a person to do? Let him trust in the name of the Lord, in what God is. And when we go, as it were, through deep waters, and the Lord visits us in the night, awakes us in the night, in one way or another, what are we going to do? Oh, let him contemplate the name of the Lord, what he is. He is good, he is faithful, he is righteous, he is 1,001 things. The night season is a good time for thinking upon his name. In Psalm 16:7, the night season is also for instruction. We learn things in the night that we don't learn or not likely to learn at any other time. 16:7. I will bless the Lord, who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night season. Now, this word reins is a difficult word in the Hebrew. It really means my kidneys. But in those early years, the kidneys were regarded as the seat of our personality. We know better now. But what David is saying is, during the night, God gives me instruction, and I learn things from my own contemplation, from my own spirit. My own spirit will teach me during the night. I received from the Lord many instructions during the night. So did Jesus. Remember last Sunday? The Lord God has given me the tongue of the learned. He wakeneth morning by morning, he wakeneth mine ear as them that are taught. The Lord instructs us during the night. We learn from our own spirit. We see things more clearly, often during the night, when we can concentrate on one thing or another. Psalm 42:8, I'm moving a little rapidly, trying to cover as much as I can. I have 15 minutes, and I'll see what I can do with it. I just might make out. In 42:8, yet the Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime, and in the night his song shall be with me, and my prayer unto the God of my life. His song shall be with me. Now we'll turn to Job for a moment. Job 35 and verse 10. But none saith, where is God, my Maker, who giveth songs in the night? Folks, as there are times when during the night God gives us a song. Have you ever experienced that? Who giveth songs in the night? I had one the other night. I can't go into details, I suppose, but I got a song from the Lord during the night that changed my attitude toward a person. I told wife in the morning, I have to take a different attitude toward that person. The Lord gave me a song. It was a strange song for the occasion. I wondered what to make of it. Then I made a connection. I had an attitude toward a person which, while not totally wrong, was nevertheless tarnished by wrong, I would say, at least contrary to him. And that song taught me to modify my attitude and consequently my action. He gives us during the night songs of worship, songs of guidance. I was up with the Lord one night while we were here, and I was sitting there, and I happened to think about my itinerary. I had a question, should I or should I not stop in a certain place? And at once the song rose up, publish glad tidings, tidings of peace. And I knew right away what it meant. I was to stop. The Lord will guide you many times with a song. He gives songs in the night. I was up, and also while I was here, a little while with the Lord, and I had questions in my mind about visiting a certain place. That was another one. And the song, I wondered in regard to that place whether I made a mistake. That's more accurate. And I wondered, and a song came up, it is well with my soul. You have that to it. It is well with my soul. Then I knew everything's all right. Leave it alone. He gave us songs in the night. If you'll only note that, you will discover many times the song is not simply there for a song, but to give us instruction by means of a song. One night, I was awakened out of a deep sleep in the States, and I'm a poor sleeper, but I was in deep sleep that time. I was awakened by a song that sang so, shall I say loud? I heard it sing, in my spirit, and there it was. And the song goes me, the song was, up from the grave he arose, and I know what it meant, it's time to get up. You see, you learn this thing, that's the school of the Spirit. Oh, gave us songs in the night. You watch that sometimes, many times I get these songs, by day too. I get one very often. Can I think of? See, I'm trying to hurry, and I'm not made for hurry. I can't think of it now. I'm trying so hard to think of it. It probably come to me. A chorus the Lord uses often with me, and to alert me that He's going to call on me with something later on. Very often it's prayer or intercession, trying to think of it, it won't come. But the Lord gives songs by day, He gives songs by night. If it comes to me, I'll weave it in. All right? A moment we turn to Ephesians 5 and verse 19. Because it's not always, the songs are not always a special message or for guidance. So here is another purpose in 5:19. I'll take 18. Be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, or wherein you can overdo it, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord. The Lord, by His Spirit, puts into our hearts a melody by day or by night. And when you get it by night, well, what will you do with this melody? It doesn't seem to be for guidance or anything. What you do with it? I'm trying to make up a word. Melody it unto the Lord. Doesn't have to be loud, just let this thing sing around and let it sing unto the Lord like how great thou art or whatever it is. Just let this thing go around and around and around and around and around and around, making melody in your heart to the Lord. You don't have to wake the family up and shout all over the place. Here it doesn't say make melody with your voice, although there's a place for that. Make melody in your heart unto the Lord. So the Lord gives those songs, and Job knew it. So give us songs in the night. Isaiah 26:9. Shall I stop or take a few minutes? What time do you have, Brother Johnson? 25. Oh, I have that. We're all right. 26:9. Did I say Job? Did I say Isaiah? That's correct. Isaiah 26:9. Here I have it and lost it. With my soul have I desired thee in the night, yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. Look at that. With my soul have I desired thee in the night, yea, within my spirit within me will I seek thee early. Now, in the night, we let our desire go out toward the Lord. And you can sit that way. Sitting is better than lying, because with lying, you're very likely to go to sleep. I have been up and knew I had to be up and was so sleepy that I got out of my chair and stood against the wall, keeping my head against the wall. And even standing up like this, I fell asleep and fell forward and just caught myself at the last fraction of a second, but that was unusual. The Lord kept me all night. I went to bed at 11. He awakened me at 11:45, and I had to stay up with him all night. And during the night I said, Lord, I'm so sleepy, why do I have to stay up? And he gave me an answer, because this is more necessary for you just now than your ordinary sleep. Now, God had a reason for that. There is a connection with it I cannot take time with, but you might just sit there and let your desire go out after him, directing the desire of your heart toward him. And believe you me, God responds to that desire. He may not immediately do it, but you just sit there, desiring him, seeking him. It speaks here of seeking, letting the heart go out after him in the expectation of some kind of a response from the Lord at some time. These are some of the activities I want to continue here this evening. I'm breaking it off because I would have to ruin the next point for lack of time. So, as far as we are concerned this morning, we'll just go back to Psalm 17:3. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. What is that proving? In the night proves how much we want him. If we say, oh, brother, 1:45, Nick's come aroused, not me. He's proving us. Proving what? Proving whether he means more to us than our sleep, or whether our sleep means more to us than he. Whether we are so interested in him that we would not miss him for anything. And that's right. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Now, I have tried hard to go as far as I could to light your candle. I don't know how many candles I have lit, but there is another opportunity this evening to light your candle and light it again in case it goes out during the day. In the meantime, what this man, that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man, that thou visitest him.